Hello and welcome to another David Anderson Longbows Arrows video. I've had a couple of requests to talk about more about staining the wooden arrow shafts during the construction process, and I thought what I might do is actually do this in a little bit more detail, going through different types of stains that you can use and varnishes and things like that. So what I've done is I've got a set of arrow shafts here. These ones have already been cut down. These are for a customer, Mr. Williams from Milton Keynes. If you're watching this, these are your arrows that I'm making for you at the moment. They've been selected. These are all about 32-33 spine weight. They've been cut down to the archer's draw length. They've been tapered for knock and point. So what we're going to do now is just stain them. Okay, so what we're going to have a look at is we have a number of stains to use. What I do is every arrow shaft that I make will have, more often than not, a couple of coats of Danish oil. Okay, this one here is Canadian cedar. I have this is natural. Natural one is rather good because it just seals the wood, penetrates the wood, but it just brings out the naturalness of the wood itself. In the drawer, what else we've got here? We've got Georgian medium oak. We've got, that's another Canadian cedar, because I use a lot of that one. There's another natural. We've got deep mahogany, so you know, if the archer perhaps wants a deeper look to the wood, then the mahogany is also a good one for that. I think there's also I've got an oak one here as well, actually. There's antique pine, which is perfect if you're doing pine shafts. And right down here, Jacobean dark oak. So this is slightly darker than the mahogany. So there's a variety of different Danish oils that you can use. Right, I'm going to have to go and put all those back in a minute. What I'm going to use for these particular shafts is, because they are these are spruce shafts, I might give him, should we go for antique pine on it? Yeah, why not? We'll go for pine. So how are we going to do this? Antique pine. Give it a very, very good shake. While you're shaking it, grab yourself a couple of gloves. Okay, make sure the lid comes off, because sometimes they get a little bit tight. Right. Latex gloves or some form of glove, very, very useful. This is messy stuff. You don't want to get that all in caught in your fingers. So that one's there. Okay, and the other thing that I use is blue roll. Relatively cheap stuff. You can get this from Amazon. You can also get it in any hardware store, B&Q, etc. Relatively cheap stuff. If you have a Costco nearby, you get it at Costco as well. So what we're going to do is literally get some of the Danish oil on the cloth, on the blue roll, and all I do is just rub this into the shaft. Okay, use as much as you can, as much as you like. Give it a good rub in, a nice good coat. Okay, and then stand him up to dry. Over here, what I've got is actually I might do a little video about this. So it's basically an arrow stand. Okay, so while I'm making the arrows, it's if you think of the old Western films, you know, where they have the rifle racks in the sheriff's jailhouse. You see all the rifles stood up on the rack. It's exactly the same sort of thing as that. except for this one's for arrows. Okay, and I use that to stand them up, allow the oil to penetrate the wood. And I'm going to go through this. Mr. Williams here, he's got a set of 9 arrows. Okay, so that's number 2. Right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the rest of these arrows. Okay, now once I've done one coat of oil on them, I will leave them to dry for 3 to 4 hours, maybe a little bit longer. Okay, then when they're dry, I'll take them off, I'll give them another sand down with 400 grit sandpaper, and then they'll get a second coat. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to let you watch me do 9 arrows and then sand them, and then do another 9 arrows and then sand them. So come back in a bit, where we'll have a look at the finishing touches. Sometime later. Right, welcome back. Before the break, first part, where I left you earlier on, what I had done is I had taken our shafts that we're preparing for Mr. Williams, and they have all been sanded, and the tapers have been cut for the knock and the point, and we have, I have stained them with pine Danish oil. And as you can see, if you can see that there, it looks kind of shiny a little bit, and it's still very, very smooth. Now, as I said, there are lots and lots of different types of Danish oil, and they all give different effects. So if I hold these up, you can kind of get an idea of the different types of effect that you can have. They all bring out the wood in different shades. There's different depths of wood effect to them, and it's really just a case of deciding on what you want to do. They all do the same job, but obviously they all protect the wood. Then you get this type here. If I put that in the middle, you can see that we've got 2 types of finish on here. This is polyurethane, okay, and this one here is internal varnish. Okay, it's both over the same piece of wood that's been treated with a Danish oil, but you can actually make out the difference in the effect there. So the choice is yours how you want to play around with these. There are lots of different things. So what we've got is we've got polyurethane. So this one here is clear gloss. There's a polyurethane with a satin clear, so obviously the gloss is going to make it shinier. We also have a clear matte lacquer that you could use. I tend to use lacquer though more on arrows that have been crested rather than varnish, but you can use the lacquer as well. And there's also interior lacquer, clear satin, that you can use. So you have a various options. This one here, antique pine interior varnish, and this one over here we've got is exterior varnish gloss finish. Okay, now what I would suggest that you do is you just look at this and decide, try it, which looks best for you. What do you prefer? What sort of finish do you want the arrows to actually look like? And the choice is yours. So for Mr. Williams, we are going for we're going to go for the polyurethane, and we're going to go for the clear gloss. So let's put those ones away. Now we're going to give this a good shake, like we did the other one. While we're doing that, we're going to pull out a couple of gloves again. You want your gloves, keep things clean. One of the other things that you might want to make is one of these little devices, a little jig here. So basically, when you're staining the shaft, okay, if you do that, point of the shaft will go in there, and it's just easier just to hold it in place while you're doing it. I will demonstrate that. We can just keep shaking. The other thing you're going to need, you can use brushes, paint brushes. I think there's quite a thicky one there. You can use paint brushes for painting the varnish on, but what I found more effective is a sponge brush. Okay, so this was a pack on Amazon. There was about 20 or 30 in the pack for about a £5 if that. And all I've done is I've literally cut a V shape in the sponge, and you'll notice that V shape sits nicely in the shaft. So let me don the gloves, because we don't want dirty fingers. 1, 2. Do you know, sometimes I find these gloves are quite difficult to get on, you know, sometimes, and isn't it a good job we don't have 3 hands? I mean, imagine trying to put 3 gloves on if you've got like that. Give it another bit of shake. Okay, we're all looking good. So open the tin. Right, and it's so this one here you probably won't. Let me move the camera. I should have put the other camera on, shouldn't I? There you can see it's kind of like this white gloopy material. Let's put you back on there. Right, so what we're going to do is because I'm right-handed, I'll put it the right way. So all I'm basically going to do is take the, can I just stand up? Can you still, oh, let me tilt it upwards a little bit, go that way. Could have planned this a little bit better, couldn't I, really? Anyway, so with our spongy butt, it's going to go into the polyurethane, not too much, okay, and then I'm literally slapping it on to the shaft, a bit more, okay, and as I'm putting it onto the shaft, I'm also spinning the shaft round as well, so it's getting everywhere. Okay, and then when I'm done, when I'm sure that everything's done, I will spin it round and I will simply brush down. Okay, and then shaft goes into the rack for drying, and then we move on to the next one. Okay, so, and again, get some of the polyurethane in there. Yep. There we go. Right, and then again, twist and slide all the way down, giving it a good coat top and bottom. You will notice at this point, let me get it in the hole there, and I apologise for moving away. You'll notice at this point that the arrow shafts don't have any knocks or points on there, and that's exactly what I want it to be. Okay, I don't want to put the points on or anything yet until I've finished preparing the shaft itself. Okay, because a lot of the oil, the Danish oil, and the polyurethane here, is it will go over the knock and the point taper anyway, and so if I had the knock and the point on, I will effectively be varnishing them as well, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I am literally only interested in the wood. The other question you might be asking yourself is, well, why are you not using a dip tube? I mean, after all, you did do a video on dip tubes, didn't you? I did. Video 7A, I believe it was. You can have a look at it, it's on the channel. How to make dip tubes. There's 2 types on there. But why don't I use them? Well, really, I just find them inefficient, actually. I mean, this process I'm doing here, let's stick him on there. This process that I'm doing at the moment, this is actually putting the right amount of polyurethane onto the shaft. The process that they're using, the blue roll and the Danish oil, is putting the right amount of Danish oil onto the shaft. Now, if you stick this in a dip tube, right, not only do you first of all have to fill the dip tube up with your liquid, which is going to be quite costly. That dip tube's going to take a good few litres of liquid, and then of course you've got that liquid sat in a dip tube doing nothing, potentially degrading, potentially not going to work very well. And there she goes. But of course the other problem that you have is that when you take the shaft out of the dip tube, you've got the polyurethane or the liquid or whatever you're using is on the shaft, and so therefore the liquid that's in the tube is going down as well at the same time. So you might end up finding that by the time you come around to doing, you know, arrow 10, 20 or 30, your liquid in your tube might only come to there, and you're not actually getting the top of it. And then the other thing is, how do you get the excess off? I find this is just a so much easier method, you know, and works, and it's, you know, it does the job. It's in there, she's nice and urethaned up. It can be a little messy. Get some blue roll just to tidy up a little bit. And then what I tend to do with this is definitely leave this sort of like overnight. I think it does, I think packaging says something like about 4 hours to cure. I just like to leave it overnight, give it a really good chance to settle in. And what I'll do is I'll finish off these couple, and then what I'll do is I'll finish the last two that we've got here, put them all up ready for drying overnight, and I will then go in, I will have a beer, and I will play Xbox for a little while. If any of you out there also play Xbox, leave in the comments what games you like playing. My game of choice at the moment is World of Warships. Quite enjoying that one. Final one. And again, leave in the comments your views on this video as well. You know, what do you think? Does this idea work for you? Have you tried it? Have you tried something else? Because there are no rules to how you make arrows, what you're supposed to do. Well, I mean, there are a few rules, particularly surrounding the spine weight and things like that, but this side of things, there's no hard nor fast rule of it. It's whatever you want. So yeah, please leave in the comments how you do it, and what we're going to do is I'm going to leave these overnight. We will come back in the morning and have a look and see what they look like, and then finish off. We're going to put on the knocks and the points and the feathers for Mr. Williams, and get them all ready for him. So see you in the morning. Good morning, welcome back. So in the last part of this video, we'd applied the polyurethane varnish. Which one did we use? We used the Kloss Glue, didn't we? Okay, so we're going to have a look, see what this is. So this is a bit of a, hopefully a bit of a close-up so you can actually see what it is that we're talking about. Is polyurethane. which is a type of varnish which is very, very hard wearing. It's good, it lasts long, it's all for interior, exterior wood, so it's very, very versatile, low odour, low toxic, all those sorts of things. The only problem is it does tend to be quite expensive stuff. I mean, I think that one there was about £13 for that small tin there, and the slightly larger tins could be sort of like £20 upwards here. This is the satin clear version of it, and these are all available on Amazon, your normal sort of hardware stores and that sort of thing. Right, so let's have a look at the shafts now, because these are they've all been polished up, so they've all been varnished up. What I do need that I haven't got down here because it's been moved. Right, bear with me 1 second. And he's back, sorry about that. All preparation, supposed to be preparation, have everything on your desk when you need it when you're making these videos. Unfortunately, in this case, I had used the item that I was missing on the other side of the workshop, so I had to go and get it. Now, what we want to do now is, as the shaft there, and hopefully you can see a bit of a shine on it. It's very, very nice. Okay, but what I like to do now at this stage is get a buff pad. This is soft furry. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is use this to polish up the shaft a little bit. So it's a bit like sanding it, but what we're doing is we just it removes any little nodules, imperfections from the polyurethane that might have stayed on there. And then when you feel that, that's actually nice and smooth, and it's brought up the shine a little bit. Okay, so that's that one there done. Now I'm going to do the rest in a second. There are different ways that you can do polishing these shafts. You can get machines, you can get polishing machines. I'm looking for, and I still haven't found one, which basically, if I take that and that to give you an idea, if anybody knows this, pop a comment in. What I'm looking for is two polishing brushes like this, but set horizontal that way, so that they will spin, and then the arrow shaft will go between them. Okay, so you can spin the shaft, and these are spinning, and polish it that way to make it as an automatic thing. There are the wheels that go that way, and you can put the shaft up against it, but it just keeps on kicking, and you can't get the right. It's just not perfect. And I've not found anything else other than just getting one of these pads. This usually goes on the sanding thing. Okay, and then just literally using that, and as I'm going backwards and forwards, all I'm doing is I am twisting the shaft as well, and I'm going all the way up and down and making it nice and smooth. I'm going to do this for the whole 9 arrows for Mr. Williams. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and finish off these in a second, and then we're going to complete these arrows, a bit more of that end there. I'm not going to show you me polishing the rest of these arrows, or what else I'm going to do to these, because this is just purely based on, this video is based on the Danish oil, applying the different types of oils and finishes to the shafts. So we'll have a look at that. You know, there are other videos to show how to put the knocks on the points, etc. So that's where this one's going to end. I hope you found it interesting. I will put information about all the different types of the Danish oils and the dyes, and I mean, we've got one I did mention earlier, English light oak. This is a wood dye, enhances the natural beauty of the wood. I've not actually tried this yet, so I will give that a go. Okay. But ultimately, at the end of the day, how you want those arrows to look, down to you. Okay. Hope you enjoyed it. share the video, like it, subscribe it, etc, etc. Thanks for watching. See you soon.